Thanks for being here, and on behalf of our players and staff, you can't beat our fans, the best fans in the land, and they were with us, and they helped us win that game today. You know, that stadium was rocking and rolling, electric, and so much appreciation, more appreciation than ever. We asked them at the Skull Session, when I needed the most, will you give us your very best? And our fans and our student body, who we love to death, gave us their very best. Also, great respect for our opponent. I've been saying that really for 7 years, that how do you attack a rivalry? You show the most incredible amount of respect you can for that rivalry. And how do you do that? You work your you-know-what off as hard as you can. It's not a one-week thing. It's a 365 that we work on that. So great respect for our opponent, great respect for the rivalry. And we understand that elite warriors, which I consider our players, they get a mission assignment and a directive, and if they accomplish it, they celebrate the right way with their families, do the right things, and then they come back tomorrow and they accept their next mission assignment and directive, and that's a big one. That's in Indianapolis. So I'll answer any questions for you.
Front row right there. Austin?
Urban, with all due respect, where has this team been for the last 2 months? Pretty good right there.
What's that?
That was pretty good out there. Where has this team been for the last 2 months?
It's 688 against Maryland. So.
We joked a couple weeks ago that it's been ups and downs, and some of the wins were frustrating.
Yeah.
But this looked like about the most.
A win is frustrating for you or someone else. A win's not frustrating for us. So a win. There's a lot of good football players out there, a lot of great programs, and I kind of think that's disrespectful to other people that work really hard at trying to win games. I see former players in here that says, it's really hard to win a college football game. So all due respect, Austin, there's never a bad win. There's never, someone might say, why didn't you run her throat more and you missed a tackle? That's okay. You win that game. And our guys obviously showed up and played great today.
Over to the left. Bill?
But it obviously has been a difficult year for you and your team. How sweet is this to get not just winning, but to play the way you did, have this kind of result?
I'm extremely proud of our players. The way they've fought through it, and like someone says, nothing's ever good enough. And then obviously some adversity early in the year, not some, big time adversity, and to come back against a rival and play like that. That's a focused team that loves each other and cares about each other.
And to do this offensively against the #1 defense, what did you see that you could exploit?
I just think Ryan Day and Kevin, everybody, I think we're second offense in America. And I know we struggle all the time or whatever, but second offense in America and just put a bunch of yards on the #1 defense in America. So great players and a really good offensive staff, and that's how you do what you did. Did we see that? No, the guys just went out and played.
Over to the right, Tim?
Urban, two quickies. #1, Jonathan Cooper seemed to have his game of the year, just attacking their offense and stuff. What do you remember about a motivational aspect of things for your defense, especially going into this game? What was just sort of the watchword, and what did you think of Jonathan Cooper's play in particular?
To be honest with you, I didn't know because I was busy during the game on the other side, but Coops just works his tail off. That was a rugged week for our defense last week. Rugged. Yeah. And to come out and just play like they did against that team was awesome.
I've been covering Ohio State for a long time. I've said Dwayne Haskins Jr. is the best passing quarterback I've ever covered. What is just your sense of him right now? He just broke a couple of big-time records again today in the Big Ten, and just what he has meant to this run.
Well, I think he'd be the first one to tell you that the quarterback's a product of those in front of him. And I take a peek down here against that defense. Under sacks, it says 0. So I think the first thing he would say, and I'd be disappointed and shocked. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell him to make sure he says it. I thank the big guys up front because they won the game for us. 0 sacks. And then when you can flip a ball to Paris Campbell and he takes it 78 yards, and Dwayne gets the stats, I think, on that one. Was that a pass or a run?
It's a run. It's actually a run.
You sure? Didn't he flip it to him? No. Supposed to flip it, I think. Yeah.
We're going to look at the film again, though.
But the Dwayne will come in here and he'll just give all the credit to offensive line and the receivers, and that's what great quarterbacks do.
Over to the left, Teddy.
Hey, Urban, two questions. One, what kind of challenge do you face this week as a coach getting these guys up after the high of this victory?
I'm sorry, Teddy.
What kind of challenge do you face this week getting these guys up again after the high of this victory?
You mean for the Indianapolis game? We'll find out. We've been there a couple times. That's our goal in the weight room. When you walk in, you see a sign that says "Get to Indy," and they did. So that's my job and our staff's job and our leaders' job. I don't think it'll be big. I think this is going to be enjoy their families and then back to work tomorrow.
And what's your perception right now of Northwestern football?
Well, I think they're awesome. I'm a big fan of Pat's, one of my very close friends. I have just great respect for him, and I haven't watched him yet, so that comes tomorrow.
Over to the right, Rob.
Urban, Dwayne said the very first play he ran it, that was his call. He said he wanted to send a message. How happy were you to see that play, that he's kind of taking it to him? That's one. And two is, are you cognizant of the score and needing to score points? Do you get into the playoff stuff at all in a game like this?
No, that's been brought up before. You know, we just played as hard as we possibly could and kept going and kept going and kept going. And, you know, they were scoring a little bit too, so we had to keep scoring. So we don't, that's not indicative or even comes across a thought during the course of a game.
Over to the left, Ari.
Urban, everything that happened off the field with this program has been well documented. A lot of the things that have happened with you have been well documented. After a win like this, after a tough year, maybe the toughest year you've had at Ohio State, what's it like to be up there right now, accomplishing what you guys did today, and 11-1 on the year, and where's the program stand in your mind, and what could be ahead?
Well, I think it's a very healthy, strong program. I don't like to go backwards, and I assure you I won't. We're pushing forward, and a bunch of very good players, like I said, that loved each other. That was a love game. That was one of those things that you hear the word brotherhood. And why do you really play? Why does a true soldier fight? It's not for the hatred of those in front of you. It's for the love of those behind you. And that's a great quote that we live by, and they proved it today.
Urban, you've been very successful against this team, haven't lost to Michigan. Where does this one rank, considering the place this team was in, what you need to do to win, the score, everything that went into it seemed to be perfect for you. Where do you rank this?
It's, the double overtime, you can go through either one. And once again, I'm not going to shortchange any of those other efforts that we've had. But when I watch this team, the team we beat today was very good. That was a very, very good team with excellent players all over the field. And so where does that rank? I don't know. But I just know the team we beat, that's a heck of a team we beat.
Over here to the right, Dom.
Urban, you had a special moment after the game. Outside the locker room, you were joined by your family, Shelley, your grandson. What did that moment mean to you, and what were you thinking?
Well, there's no one that means more to me than her, and yeah, there's nothing more important than my three kids and my grandson, and another one on the way, and to see their smiles on their face, that's priceless, and that's something I'll never forget.
Last two questions for Coach over here to the left, Doug.
Urban, we can see what a game like this means to you, what this means to you personally right now. Can you just take us more inside of what you feel personally right now, what that game was like? You're 7-0 in the rivalry. How does Urban Meyer feel right now?
I think I just shared it with you, is that to see the people I love the most, my players and our staff and my family enjoy it, that's all I care about. And once again, all due respect to everything else that's out there and conversations, that's, we're kind of foxhole people that live in the foxhole, and you care deeply about your family, care deeply about your players, and I do care deeply about the school.
And then a special teams question. The punt block with Chris Olave. Was that you guys brought him off the edge and then he came inside for that? Was that something you thought maybe you had a chance to hit on, or where did that come from?
I'll tell you the truth that I didn't think we could do it. That's Coach Schiano drew that up, and Parker that works with us. And I saw it on Wednesday practice, and I grabbed Parker. I said, you can't. That's not going to. You only have 2.1 seconds to get there, and he's not that fast. And Schiano kept saying, we can do it, we can do it. And so I called the black, which is, I shouldn't say that. I called the block. Yeah, change the signal now. We called the block, and we have 2 blocks, and I thought we were going to go with the other one. And I hear him go over the head, and I see the signal, and I got really pissed. So we're not going to get there. We're not going to get there. We're not going to get there. And not the first time I've been wrong. Been wrong many, many times.
And final couple questions over here to the right. Andy?
You've had teams in the past that have kind of everything has started to click together toward the end of the season, and I know that's everybody's goal, but is there something in common that those teams have in common, or is everyone a different animal? Because this sort of
Every
looks
team's
like
different, but I think it's all about how the way you practice, about the way you attack your week. And offensively, I felt like we've been doing this. You know, even defensively against Nebraska, we started to settle down. And then Michigan State, we played really well. And then obviously we didn't play well last week. So today, I thought our defense, you know, once again, a pass defense, I just too many balls, too many guys open. But stopping what do we hold them to rushing? Jerry, what do we hold them to rushing? That's pretty good, holding that team to 160, 160. So they played great today. And, you know, they've been practicing great.
And final question over here to the right. Tom?
Urban, how about Olavi's game, just the way he played?
He's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a Buckeye Nation. Get used to that one now. That's a real deal. Comes from an incredible family. Came all the way across the country to be a Buckeye, and you could see right out of the jump when he started practicing. He's got the it, and he's on my punt team. He's obviously a punt blocker. You know, Greg Schiano picked him to go block that punt. There's very few that can get there, and he did it.